Big Mythic Plus changes are coming to DragonFlight Season 4. Yesterday, after the weekly reset, Blizzard went ahead and announced some of the stuff that's going to be happening, and it involves a overhaul system to the Mythic Plus dungeons and the dungeons kind of overall. So we're going to go ahead and dive into it here. We're going to break it all down. That way you know what's happening and what to expect. And then at the very end of this video, I'll give you kind of like my personal opinion, you know, if this is a good change or a bad change. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree. So let's go ahead and we'll jump into it here. So basically what they're saying in this is that they feel like heroic dungeons are not really offering a whole lot to the game. And they also want to introduce more people to the Mythic Plus dungeon pool, right? They want to have more people in Mythic Plus. Mythic Plus is super toxic. Everybody knows this. And it's hard to get into it for new players. So they're basically, Blizzard is trying to change that up. We'll look at the chart that they have here and we'll just kind of go over what it is. And then I'll blow the chart up and we'll really go through it. All right, so normal difficulty is basically remaining the same. Heroic difficulty is changing. The rewards will move up to roughly the current level of Mythic 0. These dungeons will remain available to queue into via the group finder, though the item level requirement to queue will also go up accordingly. Mythic 0 difficulty and rewards will move up to roughly the current level of Mythic 8 through 10. This is a bit hand wavy. Numerically, it's close to a Mythic 10, but not having a timer at all or affixes really offsets that quite a bit. The existing Mythic Plus system will pick up where that leaves off, such as a Mythic 5 in Season 4 is roughly equivalent in difficulty rewards and M Plus rating awarded to a Mythic 15 today. Let's jump down to the chart here. I'll blow it up so that you can see it even bigger, and we'll jump into it. Okay, so some of the stuff that I want to make a note here is this is the current system here at the top. This is what we currently have. Okay, here's normal dungeons. Then you go to heroic, and then it starts the Mythic 0. All of these are timed runs because they're Mythic Plus keys. So then you have, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 10, all the way to 20. All of these are plus keys. So when you open up your group finder looking for pre-mades, that's what you normally see. You see a +2 all the way to, 20, 25, whatever. So with DragonFlight Season 4, here's how things are going to change. Normal dungeons remain the exact same. There is no change in difficulty here, no change in reward, nothing. However, heroic now encompasses all the way up to a Mythic 0 difficulty. So heroics will now be what we are current. If you run a current Mythic 0, that is what a heroic dungeon is going to be in Season 4. Okay, so there's a huge difficulty jump here now, which is a good thing. In my opinion, it's a good thing because there's really very little difference between a normal and a heroic as it currently is. And this is a good jump in difficulty. It makes it feel like it's an actual like progression type of thing. Okay. Heroic difficulty is going to encompass everything. It's going to basically be like running a Mythic 0 to a Mythic 10. It's kind of like the damage and the HP is going to kind of scale in between here. So Mythic 0 starts here. This works the exact same. You can only do one of these every week. So if you run Ruby Life pools as a Mythic 0, you clear it. You cannot run Ruby Life pools again until after the weekly reset. All right. After the Mythic 0, and a Mythic 0 is equivalent to a Mythic Plus 10. So our Mythic Plus 10s right now is going to be our Mythic 0s in Season 4. That's the same difficulty. However, okay, unlike up here, down here, there's no affixes. There's no timer. Okay, none of that stays none of that, it all stays the same there for Mythic 0. There's no timer, there's no affixes. It's just an increase in HP and damage. All right, there's no specific Mythic Plus mechanics or abilities. It stays the exact same. There's really there's no difference between a heroic and a Mythic Plus 0 other than primarily just the damage and HP. That's it. Everything has more HP, everything has more damage. Okay, so after you run a Mythic Plus 0, then you have a Mythic Plus 2. That's basically the equivalent of running a Mythic 11. Okay? So a +2 key is going to be like running a Mythic Plus 11. And then it just consistently goes up. So a +5 is going to be equivalent to a current Mythic Plus 15. Okay? And then finally a Mythic 10, which is over here, is going to be like running a Mythic 20. Now, everything with the plus keys are still going to be timed. They're still going to be timed. They're still going to have affixes. Affixes are going to appear. The first affix will appear in a +2. Okay, that'll be your tyrannical and your fortified. That's at a +2. The second affix will appear in a +5. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right here. So at a +5, you'll have the additional affix. And then once you get to the +10, that's when the final affix will appear in the Mythic dungeon runs. Okay, the current ranking system is going to be the same as it currently is. So everything's just kind of condensed into, everything is basically cut in half here. Okay, so if you want to get Keystone Master, which is basically a 2K IO, you're going to expect to clear all 5s. Clear all 5s, you'll have your Keystone Master. Okay, it's the same thing, you know, as clearing all 15s. All right, so we'll come on down here to the gear. Okay, running a Mythic 0 is going to be the equivalent of running a normal dungeon. That's where you're going to start off with the champion gear. And then it's just going to progressively go up from there. So once you get to a Mythic 7, that's when you're going to expect to see your hero gear. And then anything up over 10 is when you'll get to the myth. So you have 10s here, 11s here. Here's 12s. That'll start your myth track, 13s, and all that up. Just some final notes here. Flightstone earnings for any given Mythic Plus will match the equally challenged Mythic Plus from the previous season. So this means that a Mythic Plus 2 in Season 4 will give the same number of Flightstones as a Mythic 12 in Season 3. So a Season 3, you know, so right now, if you run a Mythic 12, you're going to get the same amount of Flightstones right now that you'll get in a plus 2 in Season 4. Just some final notes here. Everything is basically staying the same. Okay, it's just being condensed into a much smaller bracket. So I'll give you some of my final thoughts here, my personal opinion of what I think like this is and how this is going to be. Okay, so I said this like a while ago. I felt like the dungeon system was like severely bloated, and because it was, I mean, it is. You know, when I came back to DragonFlight, I felt like, why was heroic even there? It seems kind of pointless when you're going from normal into, when you can go from like normal into Mythic Plus. And then of course, you know, when you open up your pre-made finder, you're literally staring at like so many different groups, you know, because you have +2 all the way to up to like 20, you know, people clearing 25s. So you have 25 different kind of groups that you have to sift through in order to find a group to actually run with. What they've essentially done is just cut everything in half, which I think is great. So normals stay the same. Heroics have a jump in difficulty and jump in gear. So there's actually there's a feeling of progression here. It's a good thing. The same with going to a Mythic 0. There's a huge jump in progression and difficulty, and you're compensated for it. So it actually feels more rewarding. Not to mention, not having a timer in these situations and having the difficulty and everything is going to help influx people into the Mythic Plus pool. Mythic Plus needs more players, and so not only are they like going to introduce more players into the Mythic Plus pool with these changes, but they are effectively reducing the overall size of where players can go. Right. So imagine it like, you know, if you're going to a large parking lot. Let's say Walmart, right? And this one up here has 100 different parking spots, and you have 50 people that are trying to get into those 100 parking spots, right? So they're going to be sporadic. They're going to be all over the place. There's going to be a lot of empty ones, things like that. Now take that. You don't need all those spots. So cut it in half. You have 50 people that are looking for it. You have 50 spots, right? So you cut it in half. Now everybody is able to find a spot, and there's nothing to waste. So you'll have a lot more groups in this area that are able to fill their requirements in order to run. So overall, it should result in faster queue times. You know, your groups should assimilate a lot faster than they were previously. You're still going to have the gatekeeping, you're still going to have the toxicity and things like that. But overall, it should be a much better experience. You're dealing with a lot less dungeon bloat. And another good thing about this is because of the difficulty curve here, and being less keys, you're going to feel much more accomplished when you clear something. So a +2, you know, like I said, a +2 to a +3, you're going to actually feel a little bit better about it. And if you go from +2s to +5s, you're really going to feel better about it just because everything is being condensed down so much into it. So there you go. That's everything that's happening. Big changes. I think it's all for the positive. I honestly don't know of a negative here. I can't think of a negative. So if you can think of a negative, let me know down in the comments below. Let me know if you agree or disagree with these changes, if you like them or dislike them. I ran a poll and most people seem to be liking it. So that's it. I'll see you in the next one.